نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. Assalamu alaikum, dear brothers. So, today I want to speak about immersing ourselves in Islam. Because we're in Canada right now, and Canada is not a Muslim country. We all know this. We have many Muslim brothers here, many Muslims in Ottawa, but we are not a Muslim country. Unlike if we go back to some Arab countries, if we go back to some Indian, Pakistani countries, some Somali countries, they're Muslim countries. You go there, everywhere you see it's Muslims, Muslim culture, everywhere, right? But here in Canada, we have to work extra hard. We have to protect our eyes, our ears, our clothing. We have to watch ourselves. We go to the mall, and there's music playing all the time, right? We walk outside in summer, and we see everyone wearing light t-shirts, shorts, really short shorts, right? And especially for the women, it's even harder for them. Because back in the old countries, everyone, wears their hijab, even in hot times and whatnot. But here, you see summer come out, and you see all the non-Muslim women, wearing their little shorts and their t-shirts, and they have to, be fully clothed. And they see this, and it's very difficult for them. So we should all be understanding towards their situation. And we should all work towards immersing ourselves within the culture to avoid being misled. Because when we see others, when we see the non-Muslims acting in certain ways, sometimes we think, why don't we do this? Why don't we do this? Like, you'll see someone wearing shorts that go above their knees. And you're like, oh, that's nice, why don't I wear something like that? Whereas we know in Islam, we have to go below the knees with our shorts. We have to go below, right? So you have to be careful of such things. And, I was born in Canada, right? I was not born in a Muslim country. But my parents, they sent me to a masjid when I was young. They brought me to the masjid, every Friday when they could. Why? Why would they do this? Because they wanted to immerse me. They wanted to immerse me in the Muslim culture. And what better place is there than the masjid? Right? We see the masjid, it's supposed to be a community center for our people. It's supposed to be a place all the kids can come, all the adults can come. Everyone, the entire community can come. And you look and you're like, wow, this is what the Muslim community is. Right? Unfortunately, we look at the masjids now, and you look at, come Asr time, come Maghrib time, look how empty the masjids are. So we should all try and bring our kids. We should all try and bring ourselves to the masjid as much as we can. And make it a community center again. Make it a lively place for all of us. And why? Because so that when we have kids, and many of us have kids, we can bring them. We can bring them to the masjid, and we can show them what being a Muslim really means. We can show them what having a community means. Right? Like look, alhamdulillah, we have plenty of brothers here. Today there's school. Right? Many kids are in school right now. But come June, it's almost summertime for them. There's only 1 month left to school and then it's summer. How many of us are going to bring our kids to the masjid? Right? We should try every single Friday to bring them with us. We get the ajr and we help our kids. And they become better Muslims. Because as we know, when we die, our kids are going to be one of our sadaqah jariyah. When we die, our deeds are done. But your kids that pray for you and that, that are doing good deeds, they are one thing that can keep your deeds going up. So we should work on our kids. We should work on ourselves and our kids. So that when we are dead, when our deeds are finished, that our kids can keep increasing our deeds for us. Because we taught them well, we taught them how to be good Muslims. We stopped them from falling into the wrong path in a non-Muslim country that makes it very easy to. The kids go to school. They see a bunch of non-Muslim friends, right? They see a bunch of non-Muslim kids. And they'll all be doing certain things. Non-Muslim kids will be, eating gelatin food, eating things, eating whatever, wearing whatever clothes they want. But our kids can't. And when they see these kids doing it, they'll want to do it. They'll be like, why can't I do it? Why can't I eat this gummy bear? Right? You see it many times. Because the kids, they're young, they don't know, they just want to try things, new things. So we have to be very careful on their behalf. We have to always tell them, show them the right and wrong path when they're young. We have to show them the right path, not only by telling them, but by example. Because when you're a kid, who's their role model? who is the kid's most, like the biggest role model the kid has? Of course, it's their father, it's their mother. They'll look at them and copy them whatever way they can. And if they have siblings, it'll be their siblings as well. So if we let the oldest do what he wants, and we let the oldest fool around and do things he's not supposed to, what are his younger siblings going to think? They're going to be like, oh, my brother's doing it, why are you stopping me? My brother's doing this, my brother's doing that. Or they'll see their parents. If their parents are doing things they aren't supposed to, they'll cite their parents like, oh, they do this, why can't I do it? Why shouldn't I do it? How are you going to tell someone not to do something and then do it yourself? You tell your kid not to eat gum, and then you're eating gum in front of them. What example does that set for them, right? It's the same thing. We have to be the role models for our kids. And not only for our kids, we should be the role models for everyone. When they look at us, they should be like, wow, this is a Muslim. They should look at us and be like, wow, this is a Muslim. It gives that impression of what Islam is, right? Because right now we look at Muslims and we think, oh, they're always late, they're always lying, they're always lazy, right? Is that the impression we want of ourselves? Is that the impression we want for our people? Because it only takes one Muslim. So only one Muslim to do something bad and someone will have that impression. Because everyone's always observing each other, right? So if you see one person doing something bad, you might think, wow, all Muslims are like that. Even if they aren't, that's the way our brain works. We work based off experience. So if we see someone, if we see a Muslim and they're not doing something, if they're doing bad things, if they're lazy, if they're lying all the time, if they're always late, if they're not punctual, that's the impression we get of Islam too, not just that one person. Not just that one person. That's how stereotypes are made. Stereotypes, they aren't made out of thin air. They come from some form of fact, some form of truth. It may not be a truth for everyone, but it is some form of truth. So we should work extra hard so that when people look at you, when people look at your family, when people look at your kids, they see this is what Islam is. And they are in awe. When you look at the Prophet, when you look at the Sahaba, they would walk to cities and try and convert people. And when they do, the people, they wouldn't say anything. When the people look at them, when they look at their behavior, just their behavior, just by looking at how they act, how they interact with other people, non-Muslim, Muslim does not matter. How they just act with other people, how they treat their parents. They would be in awe. They would be in awe of how they act. But now we look at our generation now. We look at our kids, we look at ourselves, and we see ourselves arguing with our parents. We see ourselves yelling at our parents. Astaghfirullah. Right? Our parents, they are elevated above us. In the Quran, it says we shouldn't even say uff to our parents. We shouldn't even say uff to our parents. And that's not an Arabic word. But it says it's there because to show the importance of our parents, of how we shouldn't even argue with them. So we need to work on ourselves. We need to work on ourselves and our kids. So that when they grow older, when we grow older, we can look back and say, Alhamdulillah, I did something. Tomorrow, the day of judgment will come, and you'll say, Alhamdulillah, I did something. I at least taught my kids. I at least taught my kids. I brought them to the right path. I brought them to the masjid. They were immersed in Islam, and so they didn't follow the wrong path. I kept them off the wrong path. That's what I did. And you can be proud of it. And you can get the deeds of it as well. It's not as if it's just going to be something you say, I did this. You'll get rewarded, of course. Allah is most merciful. His bounties will never deplete. He could give all of us Jannah, every single person in the world, and it won't change anything from him. It won't even take a drop of his treasure. So inshallah, we should all try. We should all try and bring our kids to the masjid. Bring ourselves to the masjid. Make the masjid a community center for our people. Where we come and there's people, where the kids are here, the adults are here. You look at Maghrib time, you look at Asr time, and there's rows of people. There's rows of people. So it's not 1 or 2, 4, 5 brothers. And of course we have work. But when we don't have work, when we have a day off, don't sit at home. Take your kid and come. They'll see that. When you have a day off and you bring your kid to the masjid, they'll see that, wow, my dad had a day off and he still brought me to the masjid. That's what he did in his day off. He brought me to the masjid. That means it's something important to him. It's something important to him. And that's how we feel that importance. Because you see how important it is to your parents and how much they're trying to get you here, you'll feel something. And if you don't, you should look at yourself one more time. Right? So we should, inshallah, all try and bring ourselves to the masjid, bring our kids to the masjid, try and avoid the bad influences of, just our country in general, just the way it is. And try and avoid everything by bringing them to the masjid and immersing ourselves and our kids within the culture of Islam, inshallah. Jazakallah.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله قال الله تعالى أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون واعتصموا بحبل الله جميعا ولا تفرقوا واذكروا نعمة الله عليكم إذ كنتم أعداء فألف بين قلوبكم فأصبحتم بنعمته إخوانا وكنتم على شفا حفرة من النار فأنقذكم منها كذلك يبين الله لكم آياته لعلكم تهتدون وأيضا قال ولا تكونوا كالذين تفرقوا واختلفوا من بعد ما جاءهم البينات وأولئك لهم عذاب عظيم أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين من كل ذنب فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم فيا أيها المسلمون إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وسلم تسليما اللهم اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين وأقم الصلاة
الله أكبر الله أكبر، أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله، أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح، قامت الصلاة قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر، لا إله إلا الله.
حقا لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، له الملك وله الحمد، يحيي ويميت وهو على كل شيء قدير. استووا واعتدلوا يرحمكم الله. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الرحمن الرحيم، مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين، اهدنا الصراط المستقيم، صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. إن المتقين في جنات وعيون، آخذين ما آتاهم ربهم، إنهم كانوا قبل ذلك محسنين. كانوا قليلا من الليل ما يهجعون، وبالأسحار هم يستغفرون. وفي أموالهم حق للسائل والمحروم. وفي الأرض آيات للموقنين. وفي أنفسكم أفلا تبصرون. وفي السماء رزقكم وما توعدون. فورب السماء والأرض إنه لحق مثل ما أنكم تنطقون. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الرحمن الرحيم، مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين، اهدنا الصراط المستقيم، صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. إن للمتقين مفازا، حدائق وأعنابا، وكواعب أترابا، وكأسا دهاقا، لا يسمعون فيها لغوا ولا كذابا، جزاء من ربك عطاء حسابا. رب السماوات والأرض وما بينهما الرحمن، وما بينهما الرحمن لا يملكون منه خطابا يوم يقوم الروح والملائكة صفا لا يتكلمون إلا من أذن له الرحمن وقال صوابا ذلك اليوم الحق فمن شاء اتخذ إلى ربه مآبا إنا أنذرناكم عذابا قريبا يوم ينظر المرء ما قدمت يداه ويقول الكافر يا ليتني كنت ترابا. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. الحمد لله رب العالمين. استغفر الله استغفر الله استغفر الله أستغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم وأتوب إليه. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد النبي المصطفى وبارك وصل وسلم عليه. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. اللهم لا تجعل لنا ذنبا إلا غفرته ولا هما إلا فرجته ولا دينا إلا قضيته ولا مريضا إلا شفيته ولا حاجة من حوائج الدنيا والآخرة لك فيها رضا ولنا فيها صلاح إلا يسرتها يا رب العالمين. ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا. ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو اخطأنا. ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا. ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا. اللهم ارحمنا. اللهم اهدنا واهد بنا واجعلنا سببا لمن اهتدى يا رب العالمين. اللهم اغفر لنا ولوالدينا. اللهم اغفر لهم وارحمهم. اللهم من كان منهم محسنا فزد في إحسانه ومن كان منهم مسيئا فتجاوز عن سيئاته. اللهم لا تفتنا بعدهم ولا تحرمنا أجرهم. اللهم اغفر لهم. اللهم ارحمهم. اللهم ارحم جميع المسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات إنك سميع قريب مجيب الدعوات يا رب العالمين. اللهم يا فاتح الأبواب افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك. اللهم اكتب لنا الجنة وما قرب إليها من عمل. اللهم يا رحيم ارحمنا. اللهم يا تواب تب علينا. اللهم يا غافر الذنب اغفر ذنوبنا. اللهم يا شافي اشفنا واشف مرضانا ومرضى المسلمين يا رب العالمين. ربنا عليك توكلنا وإليك أنبنا وإليك المصير. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد النبي الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.